Kerry Silkin, who used to own Ring of Honor, and that every day. And he just told me the snow has stopped snowing, but it's still bangs up there.
Yeah, I was just telling my wife, like, it's finally starting to melt. It's about 50 degrees, and they're already calling for snow on Sunday again. So, can't catch a break.
Okay, let's roll, mate.
We are. You don't have to deal with this weather down. You're still in Clearwater, right?
Yeah, Tailwater Beach.
Yep. And then Butch, you're in New Zealand?
Yeah, go ahead, Bill. I'm in New Zealand. I'm on the North Island, 50 miles north of the capital city, Wellington. I'm in a small farming town called Otaki, and it's summertime here. And the birds are singing, the sun's shining, and it's a lovely day in Kiwi land.
All right. Yeah. So you're making me feel a little jealous.
Sorry, mate.
Turning a phone call off. But yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that you guys are having better weather than I am, and it's good to hear that you guys are getting back on the road together.
That's the great thing about it, Bill. We're excited
this
to get
week
back on the road together. We had opportunities last year for 3 or 4 different times, but due to the in Canada and in US, but due to this virus pandemic, everything was cancelled. So we're hoping to move forward this March when Butch comes over here for the start of the tour.
Is he going to be bunking with you down in Clearwater?
We're in Clearwater. We're in Tampa Bay for the WrestleMania weekend, but the rest of them were around the road and mainly up in your area and New York State, PA and New York State.
I'd love to have you up here, and I have a friend that does some conventions in New Jersey, so I'm sure he's excited to kind of get you guys back up here. But what besides time? Why was this the right time to get back together?
Well, as you know, Bill, I was out of it for many years. Luke saved me on my deathbed. He was on the road. I rang him up and said, I can't make it. It was just after 9/11. And the planes had just started flying again. And I said, I feel really bad. And he said, why? And I told him, I said, I don't know. I can't move my joints properly. Anyway, he went, and very rarely would Luke and I ever miss going on the road together. So he knew that obviously I was in a real bad way if I said that I was sick. Not just injured, but sick. And he went away, and luckily, he kept trying to ring my phone. I was alone living alone at the time, and I was unconscious for a couple of days. Luke kept on trying to get me, no answer. So in the end, thank goodness and thank God, he decided I've got to go. And he told the promoter, sorry, mate, I've got to drop this. Something's wrong with Butch. I've got to go down there and check. So he flew down. He dropped everything. He flew down to Tampa. And there he looked in the windows. There I was through the rat's light. He could see me on the bed, unconscious. He kept on banging. Next minute, he smashed his way into the house, thank goodness. Took one look, called the ambulance. They all came, and they said to Luke, this doesn't look good. By the time they got me in the ambulance, I'd already gone once. On the way to the hospital, I'd gone again, and they brought me back each time. So that took years and years to get over that. My whole body was poisoned from the inside out. All my joints were poisoned. All my organs weren't moving because they were packed up with pus, and it took many years to fix it. I started coming right when I came back to New Zealand. It took me 3 years to get back here, Bill. But when I finally got back and started to go to the gym and started to work on things, then I met this lovely woman. I married this lovely woman. Our life was great again, and bang, it hit me again. There was a little particle, they think, that didn't go away, was hidden somewhere, And I took this huge big bump out of bed, and I was delirious. Next minute, I was out conscious again. My wife rang the ambulance over the same thing. I was died on the ambulance, died in the hospital. So then, this time, and they against all odds, this time, I made it back the second time. So from the second time, they took me up into the country, stuck me in the shearing sheds. They put new parts in me. They fixed up a lot of the joints. Then they said, you're getting better, but it's going to take a lot of time. In the meantime, all the fans gave beautiful notes, wishing me well, sending me love, sending me prayers. It was unbelievable. And it was their encouragement, Bill, that started to get me motivated. And I could not get them out of my mind how some of them had never met me, and yet were talking about me like I was their brother or sister or mother or father. And it was just an unbelievable time. And so when they opened those sheds, and I felt that bushwhacker blood coming back through the veins, and I felt the arms starting to jiggle a little, the legs started to move a little, and I thought, wow, we may be getting into something here. And with Luke's encouragement, and away we went. And then I said to Luke, mate, we've got to get this thing going again. We got to show the people what we really are about. Give them back some love after this horrible year or so that we've had through this virus. Everybody losing people left and right and center. And so we got back, and now we're not only prepared to show them what the bushwhackers look like, but a lot of them have never heard of the sheep herders, never seen the sheep herders. So now we don't have any ties. We can be the bushwhackers. We can be the sheep herders. We can be the bush herders. We can be the sheep whackers. We can be all the lost for stories. And so, Bill, we're ready to go around and say, thank you guys for all that love and encouragement. And here we are, and here you are. Let's get it on, baby. Whoa!
And Bill, let's thank to Lucha Libre Online, getting all the media for us, which they have this week. We've done an hour and a half to 2 hours every day from Spain, Mexico, Costa Rica, United States, Scotland, UK, all over the globe, with all the media through Lucha Libre Online, that we've got so many emails coming in asking us, when can we come to their shores? And we appreciate Lucha Libre very much, as you know, because they hit every corner of the world.
Yeah, I'll take a minute to thank them for helping you out, helping us out, setting this all up. And I just want to say it's really good to see, not only are you on the mend and in better health, but you seem like you're in good spirits. And
Yeah.
you also touched on a really great point where a lot of people only knew you as the Bushwhackers. I'll count myself. Like, so when I grew up as a WWF fan, that's all I ever knew. So hearing the stories in hindsight about like, you're the most violent tag team there ever was, and you guys were bad guys and scaring people, and I'm just like, oh, I can't picture it, especially you guys are like so easy.
Yeah,
was it easy to turn on and off like that?
A lot of the wrestlers said to us, how can you go from being one of the most violent teams to doing what you're doing now? And of course, we've been in the business so long and professionals, we said the money. Because we went from being a wrestler to a personality. Now, mate, when the media put on Facebook and Instagram and all the media platforms that the Bushwhackers were going on Hall of Fame, we got knocked down to pieces. We got shot down by everyone. Those two clowns, they never done anything except come into WWE and be clowns. Little did they know that we had wrestled Peter Maivia, who is The Rock's grandfather. Butch even went to Samoa in 1968 or 1970 to wrestle against Peter for the 10th anniversary of their independence. We both wrestled him in Australia and New Zealand, and of course, where I said Butch had, we wrestled The Rock's father all over the world, Rocky Johnson. We'd wrestled a name of Stu Hart, Brett's dad. We wrestled him in the early 70s. We'd wrestled a guy who sold out Madison Square Gardens in the 60s and 70s, and who trained the Eighth Wonder of the World and Triple H, Killer Kowalski. We'd wrestled, we'd gone back to wrestle names like that. Sweet Daddy Siki, who's got a documentary out at the moment, a television documentary. There's names I could go through that we wrestled that people had never heard of. But in that era, they were on top of the mountain.
Well, it was a product of the times too. You have to remember, like, WWE wanted the superstars and didn't really talk. To an extent, they still don't talk about outside companies, but it was just kind of a surprise finding out, and especially like, I don't think anybody ever has said a bad word about you guys, like behind the scenes. Like they always say, like, what nice guys you are, and you made it fun and it was memorable. Like you say, like, oh, they were clowns, but that's something that you remember now is like a fun memory. So
yes, we brought a new level of energy to WWF when we came in there. That's what Vince said. Well, it's been quoted in books and that. The level of because we were the crazy ones. We'd do a high spot, and next minute we'd be going like this around the ring. It was action all the time. A new level of
intensity,
entertainment
and intensity as well. Yes. Yeah.
So, one of the things I kind of wanted to ask was, again, you guys were known as babyface tag team in WWF. One of the names that always comes up as far as like the one guy that never turned heel, Ricky Steamboat, and everybody talks about how he was always a good guy no matter what.
Yeah.
Was there ever talks of turning you heel in WWF?
No, there wasn't. We suggested to Vince a couple of times, especially near the end of our run. We suggested to Vince, why don't you turn us heel? And he said, I can't turn you guys heel. He said, most guys I could turn from face to heel to face. But you guys, the people love you guys. He said, I've never seen the love that the people are showing for you guys as they are and what we're seeing. He said, I can't do that. He said, if you had have told me that you were going to get over like you did, he said, I possibly wouldn't have even believed it, how strong it was. But don't forget, it was our experience, and we'd been, as Luke just told you, we'd been through quite a few eras, Bill, being in main events around the world at that stage, wrestled in about over 60 different countries and stuff, main event in all of them. But it wasn't just our ability, it was also Vince's ability and credit as well for seeing in us something that a lot of other people couldn't see. We didn't even see ourselves. If we had, to tell you the truth, if before we met Vince and somebody had said, I'm going to bring you guys in and that, we would have laughed at them. And we would have said, oh, don't be stupid, But because it was Vince, because it was the WWE, because he had made so many wrestlers and talent, and because he was so experienced and done it, and because he had learned off his dad and blah, 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 you could not say no to the guy. And he never double-crossed Luke and I. We never double-crossed him. We've never had a bad word to say about Vince. He's never said anything bad about us. And to be honest with you, the love that he's showing us, we show that love back to Vince. It's been a great, great run. And everybody who was involved, you can only just thank them. It's been great, and still is.
Yeah, Bill. You know, Vince gave us the car to drive. He changed the names of the Bushwhackers, but the gimmick came between us. Butch with the arms and all that sort of stuff. He never created the gimmick.
Well,
We came up. We've been around the block enough, and Butch tried a movement, and the fans bought it, and then we followed. We got onto it, and then we pushed it, and within 2 weeks of being on television with the marching and the fucking arena, the flipping arenas, everyone was marching. You know, the fans just caught on like that.
Well, I will point out two things. The first is, if you want evidence of how popular the march was or how you guys were, your action figures were molded in that pose so that they could actually do the march.
Yeah.
So you did something right. And if people want to check out some of your older work, I found this recently when I was researching. It was when you were the Sheep Herders. It was against the Fantastics. You can find the full-length match online, but it's a pretty violent match, and it gets a little bloody, but you know, it's a stark contrast from what they're used to in WWF. So I would say, if you're looking for, you know, just a different angle or new content that you've never seen before, you know, it's out there. And I think, you know, there was a lot of wrestlers that happened to, but you guys were one. And I know, like, Dusty Rhodes, like, I didn't know what the NWA was before WWF, and it was like, it was just opening a door to like an entire different universe. And
we wrestled.
Cool. It's a really cool learning experience.
Yeah, we wrestled. You mentioned Steamboat before. We wrestled him in 1980. Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat, and we can say that, you know, those guys were magic in the ring. God bless Jay. He died in 82 or 83, but him and Steamboat, one of the best. And of course, with Blackjack Mulligan and Dusty Rhodes, we wrestled against those two, and those two in Texas and in Florida. So we wrestled against, going back, we wrestled against a lot of names from that NWA era, mate.
Do you guys have a favorite match? Like, I'll try to simplify it. Favorite match from before WWF?
Yes, you just mentioned that, and I'm sorry, sir. I didn't want to be butt in, but before I forgot it, I wanted to tell you when you were talking before. 1986, the Crockett Cup in the New Orleans Superdome. People have got to go into the Crockett Cup, 1986, New Orleans Superdome, Sheep Herders against the Fantastics.
That's what Bill was talking about. That's the one Bill was just telling us about, mate.
Yeah. All right. And then how about whether it's favorite WWF match or moment, or just...
Butch has got a good one there.
Yeah, definitely the favorite WWE match or F match in there, Bill, was at Wembley Stadium, SummerSlam in London, of course. And
91.
Pardon? Yeah, they had 96,000 plus people jammed into Wembley Stadium, the biggest crowd they've ever had. Because they had ringside, so that gave them extra people as well, you see. And we opened up the show, Bill, and it was a 6-man tag. And Vince says, I'm opening up the show with you guys and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I want you to blow this roof off it, even though there was no roof. So there was Luke, myself, the Bushwhackers, Hacksaw Jim Duggan against the Nasty Boys and Jacques Rougeau, the Bounty. And so when the music goes on, and they said, and from New Zealand with a combined way, blah, 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 Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers. And when we started pumping the arms, and then Duggan's coming out, got announced, and Duggan's coming behind us with the flag, the 4x2, the noise, it was absolutely deafening. There was 96,000 people, Bill, waving their arms up and down, up and down. Nearly 200,000 arms, if you want to count it that way. And then with Doug in there as well, they got louder and louder. Then we all got into the ring. When we got into the ring, we couldn't even hear each other talk or nothing. That was a waste of time. So Duggan put his head down. We gave Duggan a double head rub, Bushwhacker style. Luke and I put our heads down. Duggan gave us a head rub, hand each on our heads. Then we pointed to one rope. We all marched, including Hacksaw Jim Duggan. We all marched Bushwhacker style, arms up and down to the edge of the rope. And I went, whoa! Luke went, yay! And then Jim Duggan, he goes, ho! Well, we did that, Bill, from corner to corner to corner, from rope to rope to rope. We could have still been doing that now. And they would have lost the voice, but they still would have been going. Yeah. And we had that match. I've never heard noise like that in all my life because of the volume and the atmosphere. They managed to maintain most of that noise throughout that whole SummerSlam because we'd set it off at such a high velocity. And Hacksaw was really, he was the single, like the Bushwhackers were the tag. He was a bit out there, a bit crazy, a bit off the wall, and they had the same or similar love for Jim Hacksaw as they had for us. So it was absolutely fantastic. And we were always great mates, and we've been great mates ever since. But that made our hairs go on our arms. That was just incredible, boys. Words could never really say how we actually felt from being out there that particular night. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that event, like, I'll point to, I just talked to Mike Rotundo a couple of weeks ago, and
great, yeah.
He said he picked their match, the Money Inc. match from the same event. He just said there's something about it, like having all those people there, and
people were just there. Yeah.
And the main event was a thing that they'd been waiting for. It was a local British boy, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, against Bret Hart. And Bret was the heel for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because Davey Boy, of course, being British. So it was that was the main event. Yeah.
There's another example of somewhere you're not going to see somebody get booed in a particular arena. We were talking about you guys being embraced by the fans. He definitely wasn't getting any boos that night, but it was really good talking to you guys, and I really hope sooner than later we get a chance to do this in person, or we get you over here to the States together. In closing, what do you guys want your legacy in wrestling to be, if that's not too big picture? Like, how do you want to be remembered, as the Bushwhackers or the Sheep Herders or Luke and Butch, or what do you hope wrestling fans remember about you?
We just want the wrestling fans, and they already know, but we want to show them what we were before the Bushwhackers, and we want them to know, but I think they do, that everything, every dream that Luke and I ever had came true. We were in a tiny little country like New Zealand, only 5 million people. We started wrestling. We'd never seen a professional wrestling match on TV. We'd never seen live wrestling until we went to one in our capital city. And we never, ever dreamt then that we would one day be standing in the WWE Hall of Fame, getting inducted. And it's just been a great run. We've given 110%. And we feel like we now want the fans to see the other side. If they've seen the Bushwhackers, let them have a little look at the sheep herders, or vice versa. And I do think that very, very few fans out there know that there's not a match we were in, whether there was 100 people, and trust me, we had some houses in some places with 100 people as the sheep herders, or whether it was 96,000 people as the Wembley Stadium. We gave 110 every time, Bill. We made it into an entertaining night, regardless of whether the heels with blood and guts or with baby faces as the Bushwhackers with licking heads and licking faces. And I feel so proud of what we have achieved. And as I said before, we certainly would not have achieved it without each other. Of that we're certain. I was a little more crazy than Luke. Luke was a better businessman than me. So between the two of us, we were just an ideal two. We got on from the start. We very rarely ever had an argument, not as much as I even had with any of my wives. So I'm just grateful for the whole thing. And let's give some back to the fans.
Well, like I said, I hope it's sooner than later we get you back over here. We'll put the contact information up, but Luke and Butch are going to be doing wrestling, non-wrestling events, meet and greets, virtual signings.
Right.
Virtual Q&As, as you said, meet and greets, and then even in ring, me inside the squared circle. Yes, I still get in there and do a bit with Butch on the outside, and they can contact us at bushwhackerbrand@gmail.com. And folks, we're looking forward to coming to your area because we'd love to see you. And if you want to check us out, go to Bushwhacker Luke's Facebook page or Instagram page, and you'll see where we're going to be. And if we're in your area, we'd love to see you. Because then, even though the pandemic's on, Butch may grab you and give you a good head licking. Whoa!
Yeah. And also, Bill, another exciting news. We have a book coming out this year, and it's called The Bushwhackers, Blood, Sweat, and Cheers. And I can tell you, there's some stories in there that you wouldn't want your mother to hear. So poor mum who's up there. Wow.
Well, I wish you would have let me know at the beginning of the call. I want to know more about that, but hopefully we'll set another one of these up when you're in my area, or we'll get together again. This was a lot of fun, but again, we'll put up the contact information, and hopefully we see you in the United States. You're going to be doing a tour, but Luke and Butch, thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very
much.
We appreciate it very much. Oh, sorry.
Whoa!
Appreciate it very much, Bill. And I hope to see you in the end of March, start of April. Whoa!
Yay!